Imagine a sweltering July morning in 1518 as you traverse the winding cobblestone streets of Strasbourg, a thriving metropolis within the Holy Roman Empire. The air hums with the bustle of merchants arranging their wares, while children chase one another across sunlit squares, embodying the rhythm of everyday life. Yet, as you round a shadowed corner, a sight unfolds that sears itself into the soul, a vision of unrelenting horror that defies comprehension. There, in the heart of the thoroughfare, a woman dances, but this is no joyous revelry. It is terror incarnate, a body betrayed by its own impulses. Her feet bleed profusely through tattered shoes, her gown clings heavy with sweat, and her eyes reflect a primal desperation, as if pleading for release from an invisible tormentor. She cannot cease her movements, no matter the agony that courses through her veins. Her name is Frau Troffea, and in this moment, she ignites one of history's most enigmatic and chilling episodes of mass hysteria. What begins as the inexplicable affliction of a single soul soon engulfs hundreds, compelling them into a macabre dance that ravages not with pestilence, but with sheer exhaustion, cardiac collapse, and the grim spectre of bodies unable to halt their fatal frenzy. This is the authentic chronicle of the dancing plague of 1518, an enigma so profound that even today's scholars grapple with its origins, and so harrowing that it unveils the shadowy recesses of the human psyche and the fragility of medieval existence. Before we immerse ourselves in these tales of endurance and anguish from the annals of time, if you find solace in uncovering history's veiled truths, I invite you to express your appreciation by bestowing a like upon this narrative and subscribing for further explorations. Moreover, share in the comments the corner of the world from which you join us. It is a marvel how these ancient sagas bind us across vast distances and epochs, united by an insatiable thirst for the echoes of yesteryear. Frau Troffea emerged from her modest dwelling onto the constricted street on the 14th of July, 1518, and commenced her fateful dance. To label it merely as dancing belittles its grotesque essence. This was a savage, ungoverned convulsion that commandeered her form entirely. Observers recounted her motions as spasmodic and feral, akin to a puppet jerked by an inebriated handler lost to reason. Her limbs flailed erratically, devoid of intent or harmony, bearing no resemblance to any familiar choreography. Her legs pounded the earth with such ferocity that fragments of the ancient cobblestones splintered beneath her relentless assault. Yet, the true dread lay in her utter incapacity to desist. Hour upon merciless hour, Frau Troffea persisted in her chaotic throes. When compassionate neighbors drew near to offer aid, she repelled them amid her contortions. Attempts to provide sustenance or water faltered. She endeavored to partake while in motion, only to spill the precious liquid across her face and attire. As the sun ascended to its zenith, amplifying the July inferno, her torment escalated. Perspiration cascaded from her, saturating her garments and forming ominous pools upon the ground. Her breaths grew ragged, fraught with desperation, yet her body defied all pleas for stillness. Witness testimonies reveal the most poignant horror. Frau Troffea yearned desperately to halt. Her countenance betrayed sheer exhaustion and panic. Intermittent cries in her native tongue implored divine mercy to end the ordeal. Alas, her flesh imprisoned her spirit, compelling her to witness helplessly as her extremities pursued their inexorable, aimless cadence. By dusk, a throng had assembled. Some whispered of demonic infestation, others of sorcery's curse. A minority speculated on ergot-tainted rye-inducing visions and seizures. None, however, could fathom why cessation eluded her grasp. As twilight enveloped the city, Frau Troffea danced onward. Lanterns and torches flickered to life, casting eerie shadows upon her unyielding vigil. Vigilant townsfolk rotated in guardianship, draping her with coverings against the chill while she gyrated, proffering nourishment she could scarcely ingest amid the frenzy, and intoning prayers for her beleaguered soul as she twisted in what resembled a solitary abyss. The contagion's insidious advance defies logical bounds, plunging into the abyss of communal psychological dread. On the subsequent day of Frau Troffea's tribulation, a neighbor, Herr Klaus, succumbed to an inexorable impulse to stir. Initially, it manifested as mere restlessness in his limbs, an unease that rendered repose intolerable. Swiftly, however, Klaus yielded to the overpowering mandate to dance. Diverging from Frau Troffea's untamed flailing, His was a more elegant, almost courtly waltz, as if partnered with spectral companions, arms extended in embrace, whirling to an ethereal melody audible solely to him. The spectacle of two souls ensnared in ceaseless motion magnetized greater multitudes. Strasbourg, steeped in medieval splendor, had encountered no parallel. Vendors forsook their posts, clergy hastened from the grand cathedral, deeming it either celestial wonder or infernal machination. Yet, the authentic nightmare was nascent. By the third dawn, 6 additional unfortunates had succumbed. Within the week's close, over 30 inhabitants were ensnared in this infernal choreography. Each entrant infused their unique torment. Some echoed Frau Troffea's ferocity, others pirouetted like Klaus. Certain marched as if to martial anthems, saluting unseen sovereigns. A handful evoked rustic feasts, clapping and stomping in ancestral cadences. Unifying them was the absolute dominion over their forms, and the palpable dread etched upon their visages as autonomy slipped away. The propagation's pattern evoked particular unease it targeted, not haphazardly, but those who lingered in observation or kin-tending the stricken, who soon joined the macabre ensemble. The affliction disseminated via sight, as though beholding the anomaly imprinted it upon the observer's psyche. Physician Johann Weyer, sojourning in Strasbourg, inscribed in his ledger, "I have beheld plagues that ravage the corporeal frame, but this assaults the essence, traversing from gaze to intellect to sinew, reducing the reason to thralls of incomprehensible propulsion." Confronted with this unfathomable calamity, Strasbourg's magistrates rendered a verdict etched in infamy as among the most disastrously misguided countermeasures in annals of communal welfare. Convening with healers, divines, and elders, they posited a notion ludicrous to enlightened sensibilities. The sufferers languished for want of proper dance. Their remedy? Amplified dancing. Rooted in humoral doctrine, they theorized overheated sanguine humors demanded expulsion via perpetual exertion, akin to fever purged through perspiration. Thus, the council commissioned minstrels and erected a timber dais in the principal plaza. They enlisted robust volunteers to partner the afflicted, presuming structured accompaniment might tame the disarray, and summoned adept performers from adjacent realms to exemplify refined steps. Catastrophe ensued. The melodies invigorated the compulsions. Silent internal rhythms yielded to imposed tempos, rendering motions fiercer, more synchronized, and perilously lethal. The imported dancers, meant as saviors, became captives, inexorably drawn into the vortex. The platform, intended for containment, morphed into a nexus, alluring spectators and amplifying contagion. The resonant tunes permeated the cityscape, inciting the urge in unseen ears. From 30, the dancers burgeoned to exceed 100. The square evoked infernal visions, multitudes ensnared in perpetual gyration, encircled by ceaseless musicians, observed by throngs courting infection. Chronicles depicted it as the underworld unleashed the thunder of innumerable souls upon timber, mingled with frantic harmonies and anguished wails, resounding ceaselessly through Strasbourg's veins. What commenced as peculiar intrigue evolved into dire catastrophe. The mortal frame endures not interminable turmoil. The inaugural demise befell on the 7th day. Frau Troffea, originator, faltered in mid-twirl, consciousness forever fled. Recorded as cardiac depletion, witnesses narrated a grimmer fate she danced unto oblivion, her terminal spasms battling phantom bonds, respiration faltering amid convulsions, limbs quivering post-collapse. As if motion transcended vitality, she heralded a cascade. Archives chronicle horrors, cardiac ruptures from unyielding strain, cerebral assaults from vascular deprivation. Most eerie, those perishing from soul's fatigue, their gazes vacant, expressions erased, persisting until mechanical failure. Sustenance eluded them, repose evaded, hydration provoked asphyxiation. Paracelsus, arriving amid the zenith, chronicled carnage, extremities abraded to crimson remnants, articulations displaced, musculature self-devoured, fevers inducing delirium and escalated frenzy. By July's terminus, fatalities tallied scores, afflictions hundreds, with caretakers dwindling and commerce paralyzed as inhabitants sought refuge elsewhere. The dancing plague confounded contemporaries, their hypotheses mirroring era's ethos. Ecclesiastical voices proclaimed diabolic seizure, citing resistance to sacraments and contagious observation as proof. Father Heinrich Kramer, of Malleus Maleficarum notoriety, probed and decreed witchcraft's sabotage, advocating inquisitions prudently spurned. Healers espoused humoral imbalance or ergotism, inducing spasms, yet failing to account for visual transmission. Melancholia was invoked, linking to destitute origins and woes. Celestial anomalies, like Halley's luminous passage, were blamed for malign influences. Contemporary insights proffer nuanced, yet disquieting, interpretations. Mass psychogenic affliction, a societal fracture under duress from scarcity, malady, and unrest. Predominantly affecting the indigent and bereaved, its observational spread aligns with hysteric paradigms. Neurological posits include encephalitic variants, impairing motility. Conversion disorders loom, transmuting psychic wounds into somatic expressions. Most ominous, social contagions dawn, where notions propagate virally, echoing in today's digital fads, panics, and ideations. The plague's cessation stemmed not from science or rite, but an eccentric mandate, pilgrimage, to St. Vitus's sanctuary in Hollenstein. By August, with ruin imminent, prior tactics forsaken, they venerated Vitus, patron of performers, yet curer of choreic ailments. Mobilizing 400 dancers demanded Herculean effort, wagons, restraints, escorts. The 3rd of August exodus resembled a spectral parade, convulsing throngs, some bound, others ambulating spasmodically, amid lamentations and invocations. At the shrine, miracles purported, benedictions quelled motions progressively, from frenzy to languor to repose. Weyer attested, faith's dominion over form, whether celestial or cerebral, dissolved the bondage in hours. By the 4th of August eve, scant persisted, dawn heralded conclusion. The epilogue proved surreal. Liberated, survivors bore indelible marks, psychic traumas evoking night terrors, despondency, rhythmic aversion. Corporal tolls included enduring infirmities, ambulation impairments. Strasbourg scarred, dancing prescribed, melodies regulated, the dais incinerated, plaza sanctified. Demographic hemorrhage 15%, lost stunted recovery for years. Europe reverberated. Tales incited imitations, reshaping views on assemblies, wellness, and psyche. Body nexus, foreshadowing psychiatry. Yet, resonances persist unsettlingly. Viral dares mirror the compulsion, from benign to perilous. Hysteric outbreaks endure clown phantoms, tick epidemics, factory swoons mirroring 1518's blueprint under modern strains. Our interconnected era amplifies susceptibility. Digital conduits accelerate contagions. Strasbourg's innocence, in equine-paced information, endured profound spread. We, in luminous velocity, confront amplified perils. Humanity's fragility endures. Consciousness's tenuousness, collective, individual blur. Frau Troffea's step birthed communal nightmare via mimicry's innate pull. The plague abated at Vitus's altar, yet precursors tension, disparity, quest for bonds abide, perhaps intensified. We teeter as dancers, awaiting triggers for contemporary frenzies, challenges, extremisms, panics. Strasbourg gleamed through torment, ideas' infectivity, mind's delicacy, boundaries collapse. What catalyst will awaken ours? Will discernment prevail ere the dance engulfs? Hauntingly, origins and terminus elude certainty. 5 centuries hence, mystery lingers, underscoring psyche's enigmas, contagions deadlier than plagues. The dancers rest eternal, their saga a beacon. We are not sovereign rationals, but intertwined, prone to contagions that warped a vibrant burg into perdition. Somewhere, amid pressures, the next cadence may stir,